I have all these pieces that I want to glue into a turning blank, but I don't like to glue that many at one time. By the time I get to the last few, everything up here is already set. I like to be able to move things around for a while. So I'm going to start by just gluing these together, and then I'll come back, do this section, and after that glue the two pieces together. Before I used the router table and the round over bit to round over the edges, I used a straight edge to go diagonally from corner to corner in both directions so I could find center. Now I'm going to use this centering jig on that center point to mount this glue block. And I'm going to use hot glue to put this down. And I'll be back after I get this thing glued down and ready to put on the lathe. This is where I have to remind myself that I am not in a race. Every cut has to be very controlled and very fine. I do not want to take any chances on chipping those corners out. All right, this area in here is going to be very difficult to sand with this spinning. In fact, next to impossible. There's a lot more air time than contact time. So I'm going to use sanding blocks like this, and I'm going to sand this. Now, I've been collecting these sanding blocks for years. I didn't buy them in one shot, or it would have been too expensive. But I have everything from 80 grit all the way up to 400 grit. So I'm going to sand these. I'm going to use these sanding blocks off camera, and then I will be back. There's no use boring you to tears with this sanding. I sanded all of this to 400 grit. I did the edges here, and I used the last few grits just to ease over this as it was a little sharp. Took me about 1.25 hours to do that. So now this should be easier, I believe, to sand once it's done, because I'll be able to do it while it's rotating. So I'm going to get the tool rest back in position and carry on turning. This wood is so dry that it's actually a little bit hard to cut. So it's going to take me a few minutes here. I'll certainly speed the video up so you don't have to spend the time with this that I do. It is not my intention to take as much away here as I did up here. Any dish shape that's going to be on the top will be in this area. So I don't want this to be too thin. And I have taken this from original 1 inch thick down to where it's 3/4 of an inch right here. As I mentioned, this is very dry wood, and it is beating the heck out of my edge on this gouge, so I'm going to resharpen this. Although I think I'm pretty much finished turning this. I think I will just sand from here, and I'll just sharpen that up so it's ready for the top side of this. And I will be back in a second to show you how I'm going to sand this. To sand this, I've got these 2-inch discs, and I'm going to have to run this forward because I do not have a set screw to hold that glue block on to make sure that it does not fall off. So this will be running forward like this. This will also be running forward against it, and I'll do most of the sanding in here anyway with that. Where I can't use that, I have these 3-inch discs on this holder, and I'll be able to hold that here while it's spinning. Any place that's not feasible, I can use these strips of sandpaper and hold them like this. So I will get my air shield on to protect my lungs. I'll be back to do this sanding, and I'll just show you a brief bit of that sanding. This is sanded to 400, beautifully smooth. I think this is going to look real good when I put mineral oil on here. Because I'm not sure what it's going to hold, but it could hold candies or something. I want it to be food safe, and that's going to mean, in this case, mineral oil. I also really like the way mineral oil will make the different species of wood colors pop. So that's another reason to use that. And now I'm going to drill for my logo coin. 250 RPM, 15/16 inch bit. Alright, this should work just fine. So I'm going to turn this around now and start turning the top. I'm going to use denatured alcohol. I will put it liberally all the way around here and let it soak in. I will let it sit for probably 5 or 10 minutes, and then I should be able to come in with just a normal putty knife and it will lift right off of there. I'll soak this and I'll be back. Alright, this has been sitting for a while. Let's see how... Holy cow. Alright, I didn't expect it to just plunge right in there like that. Looks like that worked very well. Alright. I will mount this blank in there so I can turn the top of it. Alright, I'm going to be using my vacuum chuck to hold this. Luckily I still have that center spot in there, so I should be able to get this centered in there properly. Now let's turn on the vacuum chuck. I'm hoping it's not going to be too loud. And we'll see if this is going to hold. Seems to be holding well, but I will be using this for support just in case it wants to fly apart. Now I've got it set at 250 RPM. Let's see what happens here. 500. Getting well out of the way. 750. 1,000. I think with the vacuum chuck, I'll start at 750. Now I need to mark. That's 2 1/4 inches from the outside to where that ring starts. So I will mark a circle on here, and I will be right back. I think that'll be a large enough bowl to look decent. I'll get my turning smock on, get my tools ready, and I'll be right back. Alright, face shield on, fresh edge on my 3/8 inch gouge. Let's see what's going to happen here. All right, I guess sooner or later I had to pull this out of the way. Now let's see what's going to happen. All right, I believe I'm just going to go down to 80 grit to start and sand this whole thing. And I've already showed you some sanding. I don't want to bore you with more of it, so I'll be back when I have finished that. I have the entire top sanded to 400 grit now, and I think it looks pretty darn good. But I want to try to see what kind of difference there will be if I use Axe abrasive sanding paste just in the bowl area. So I'm going to put it in there. I'm not going to use the polish restoring paste. I just want to see what this will do. And I will keep using Axe pastes as long as I have them. I think it's unfortunate. Tom Ackley told me that he's going to stop shipping it to Canada. It's just too big a hassle with the shipping charges and dealing with Canada Post. And believe me, I understand both of those problems. I live with them constantly. But I really like his pastes, and I'll be sorry to not be able to get them anymore. So those of you in the States, you're lucky people to be able to keep getting them. All right, now I'm going to buff this in a little bit at 250 RPM, and then I'll turn up the speed to probably 500 or maybe 750. Now, of course, the paste didn't stay just inside the bowl, but it's just that little ring. Now I will take this, soak it real well with mineral oil, and then I'll show you the final results. I'm not sure that this video is going to do justice to the colors. They really do pop nicely, but I don't think this video is going to show that, as this is not a photography studio. I also don't know that you can see it, but using Axe pastes in that dished out area did make a difference. I don't think that you can see it, but it certainly feels silkier and smoother. So thank you to Tom for that. And I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope there's something you can take away from it. I know I certainly enjoyed doing this. So if you like this, please click the like button. Let me know I'm doing something right. Leave a comment if you have something you want to say about it. And if you haven't subscribed before, I hope you will take the time to do that now. I really appreciate my subscribers. Thank you so much to those who have done that. So until next time, have a great day in your shop and be safe. Bye-bye now.